Okay, so we had a little bit of a glitch there. I discovered that the step over F10, the shortcut for that, actually also stops the recording that I'm making with Camtasia. So I will be using that manually, possibly adding the buttons to it a little later on. But for right now, we will debug and use the manual. I'll have to convince myself not to use the shortcut. So that was exciting. Anyway, so you'll have two separated lecture videos this week. I was able to salvage the first, luckily. So let's try this, and let's look at the debugger one more time. I'm going to start without debugging. Oops, sorry. Start with debugging. Start debugging. So the first element, we see that it says my items at 0. I can even expand this here and it will tell me what's in each data. Since we have not passed this particular one yet, it's not going to work the way you expect. We have the shortcuts up here. That's handy. I usually keep them down here though. So we've got step into, step over, and step out. This depends on different scenarios that you're in. Like, for example, if you're in a function and you want to step out of it, but step over will step over this particular command or statement, and we do that, and we'll notice in this particular array, the array first element has 15. The next element, if we step over that, that will get 50, and now we're in this particular data right here. Okay, my elements. If we try to step over that, that's when we get the array. So we know that the problem's right here, and the error that we were given was that the array subscript is out of range. Okay, so we're done with that. We definitely can't do anything about that except for removing it. So because these arrays are static, they are not dynamic. They do not change with the times or as you add items. Page 314, however, has the vector type. These grow and shrink as you need them to. So this one you have to include the vector library. Okay, in this case, I could specify a vector. These are a little bit different for syntax, but you can say a vector of type integer, and let's say vec int of size 5, so it'll start with 5 elements. All right. So that's the first thing. If we want to know the size, we could say cout vec int dot size, and it'll tell us the size. Let's see what that says. We'll do a little exploring here before we even add elements to it. Okay. All right, so it says 5, right? Now, we also have, one second. We also have the capacity, so we can print out the capacity as well. Let's see what that says. See if it says anything different. So at this point, it's 5 also. All right. Now, if we just declare a vec int, and we don't specify a size, they're both 0. Okay. So let's go back to the instance in which we had 5 elements. Let's add 5 elements to it. So we're going to say vec int at 0 is equal to 5, vec int at 1 is equal to 22, vec int at 2 is equal to 43, vec int at 3 is equal to 33, and vec int at 4 is equal to 565. Okay, so we can modify and access the information pretty much the same way that we do with regular integers. But the vectors are also dynamic as well. So we actually have dynamic, the ability to access elements dynamically. For example, even though I've exhausted the vector right now, I can say vector dot push back. That's one of the ways we can do this. So vec_int dot push back 540, vec_int dot push back 22. Okay, and then I'm going to say int item in vec_int. Okay, this is our shortcut range-based for statement, for loop. So I'm going to print out the item, see what happens. All right, build it. We're just exploring together and seeing what we can get. And this prints out all of the items. Notice this time, when I started adding new items dynamically, it did work. Now, vec_int at 5. Let's see what that does. So that, you notice, crashes. Okay, that's because we did not add an item to it in a dynamic fashion. So you should use the pushback function, because that does take into consideration resizing the array, the vector, as you need to. Okay, so far so good. So that's our vector. And finally, the programming project number 2, I would like to go over that. That's pretty much all I have for you for the vector-related stuff and the array-based stuff. So, programming project number 2 is posted. It's worth 125 points, so a quarter more than the last one was. This one's a little more complicated. It's to understand arrays and array-like collections, such as the array itself and array class wrappers, such as array and vector. In addition, we also have the instructions section here. For this assignment, you will make that should be make use. I have no idea. Make sure came from. Make use of one of the array types that we learned about in class. So, sorry. Occasionally, I have to pause the video because I get visitors. So, you know, several hours could have elapsed and you would have no idea, except for probably my clock in the corner. But anyway, for this assignment, we're going to make use of one of the array types. The class that you're going to create, you will actually create a class. We didn't do an example with a class, but you know how to make classes, and you now know how to make arrays, vectors, standard arrays, standard template library arrays, and standard template library vectors. From today's class. So you need to create a class named company that maintains the first names, last names, and salaries. Okay, so a string double of employees in the company. To do this, you're going to maintain 3 separate arrays or vectors, whatever you think is appropriate, that maintain that information about a particular employee in parallel. Each index of the array refers to an individual employee's information. For example, fnames at 0 refers to employee 0, so does lname at 0, and salary at 0. So those will be private data members. And you can have arrays and vectors as private data members in a class, and that's what you'll need to do. You should implement the following methods of your class. You want add employee, which takes a string, 2 strings, and a double as the parameters. The first string is the first name, second string is the last name, and then the third parameter is the double. And this adds an employee to the internally maintained data. So each of these 3 arrays has to add the corresponding information for which appropriate array it's in. And then you have 2 overloads of this method here, this member function you have to implement. Void print employee info with no parameters prints out all of the employee info in a header. Print employee info with the integer, so it will know by context what you want. You're going to print out the employee info for that particular employee at that index. Okay, so that's like their employee number. You should turn in the solution, which among other files contains the following files: company.h, company.cpp, and main.cpp. Company.h is the header or specification file for the company class. This should just show the names of the methods and the data members. So we've got that. That's the specification file. And the company.cpp is the source or implementation file for the company class. This will have the actual implementation of the company class. Now, you don't technically need a constructor unless you just want to write one. That's fine. It won't really do anything. The add employee adds individual employees to one of the three data members, well, all of the three data members, okay, one at a time. And remember, these are what we call parallel arrays. It's a parallel array implementation, which means that the element at 0 in each of these corresponding arrays refers to the same entity. Okay, so if I say fname at 0, that refers to employee 0's first name. If I say lname at 0, that's employee 0's last name. If I say salary at 0, that's employee 0's salary. Okay, so it could be John Johnson's salary. John Johnson, 50,000. So these are all at location 0. You're not using multi-dimensional arrays. You don't have to do that. Just use 3 parallel arrays. That's fine. Now, when I say array, I mean you could use the standard array syntax, the array from the STL where you have to include the array, or you can use the vector. You have to decide what is most appropriate. I'm going to tell you that I can add as many employees as I want. I can modify your main file, which is the third required file, the driver file that actually makes use of this. I don't know what the heck happened here. I think I'm going to modify this and actually re-upload it because it looks like I screwed up a couple things that I shouldn't have. But you're going to make use of the overloaded functions. Okay, the overloaded function with the integer parameter in it as well. Since I'm in here, I might as well fix the... what was the other problem? There was something else up here. Come on, guys, yell it out. Where's the problem? I can't find it. It looks nice now. Okay. I think it was somewhere in the beginning. Yeah, make use of... There we go. Because it's spelled right, it looked right. Okay, but it's bad in context. Okay, so I'm going to regenerate this and then upload the new PDF. Again, live television, folks. Live television. Okay, so it's this thing. I'm going to save over it. Yes, I'm going to replace it. Oops, that's because I already have it open. Can't do that. I'm going to try it again. Okay. Yes, perfect. Alrighty, so we fixed that. And so if you have any questions about what needs to be done as far as this project, or you want me to clarify a couple positions or do more examples, we can do that. We can definitely handle that. And if you have any particular questions, oh, this is lovely. Well, welcome to Internet Explorer, folks. Okay. Don't you just love it? Okay, let's see what we got here. See, you're learning system support at the same time. All right, that was obnoxious. See if it'll let me add the file now. Well, it seems to be an error, so I'll fix that a little bit after the lecture's done recording. So we'll see what's causing the problem. I'll get it up there. Don't you worry. Okay, so if you have any question about arrays or vectors, or which one to use, you should probably know which one to use by this point. But that's all I have for you this week, and thank you and have a good week.